everybody. Let me get these headphones out the way. What's good, everybody? Yeah, I definitely didn't want us starting with that, whatever song was about to start playing from there. But yeah, what's good? Let me make sure that you guys can, in fact, see and hear me. Okay, looks good on your end. And then let me just make sure that you guys can, in fact, hear me. Just that way I know that we can begin. And then I got you guys. Well, let me see. All right, yeah, you guys can, in fact, hear me. All right, beautiful. So, good morning, everybody. Again, I want to make sure that we're on these charts or jumping onto these charts together. Really identifying great opportunities, answering any and all questions that you guys may have as well. Really making sure that I'm helping you guys progress and become better in your own individual trading. These calls are really to help or dedicated to you all. Let me actually make sure I got the chat here. What am I doing? Let me get my phone. These sessions are very much dedicated to the individual who needs help with trading, who doesn't quite get it or understand, doesn't necessarily have an outlet or resource on how to become better, or anyone to necessarily ask questions to become better. So these sessions are for you, or dedicated to those individuals, or anybody in there just trade or wanting to learn how to become a better trader. Even if you understand a strategy or a little bit of the market, this will still be very much a nice refresher or in more detail to help you even get to the next step. So let me see. Glad to be back here. Thanks, Jay, for the hosting, the live analysis. Yeah, never problem. Again, these are for you guys. I'm just doing this because I personally like to educate. I like to teach. I want to build my brands. I want to build our community through just obviously transparency and a lot of value. I obviously don't show face a lot. I'm a very private person with everything that I do, but I do want to be a lot more personal with you guys, and really show you that you don't have to be a rocket scientist to learn how to trade this. You can come from any background, any walk of life, and be able to actually be able to benefit from the market. So yeah, just want to make sure that I'm giving you guys these nuggets. Let me see. Top of the morning. What's good, Nova? But yeah, good morning. Real quick, I was taking a look at Bitcoin because I was looking for a continued sell. That did not happen, actually. So I actually want to take one quick look at Bitcoin before we begin. So I think anybody who's invested into Bitcoin, and this is not to say that I knew this was going to happen. There was no technical analysis whatsoever on this. I actually ended up investing into Bitcoin. Not investing, but I usually just throw money into crypto wallets or to my crypto investment, if you will, my portfolio. From time to time where I do think that there will be some moves that will be beneficial and profitable. I don't day trade, such as going on MT4, MT5 and place initial trades, but I do invest into cryptocurrencies, and I was able to actually kind of invest roughly around like this area for Bitcoin. And you can see here, there's very much a strong bullish move. So like my entries are actually like somewhere around here. Or investment ranges, not entries. But we can see that crypto is very much continuing to be bullish, or at least Bitcoin for that matter. So with the break above these highs, I would expect Bitcoin to actually continue to be bullish and rally. So if anybody's looking to invest into crypto or wants to invest into crypto, I'm pretty sure everyone's very familiar with the idea that it's not really you get a wick entry type of idea. But when this is rallying, when this is moving, you want to catch that move. So if anybody's looking at Bitcoin and wanting to know what's happening with this is obviously very much bullish. So I'm only looking at some specific areas where I will take my initial investments, probably reinvest or convert it into whatever I want. But I do think at least this would be the first targets before another sell is commenced. And if there are no sells from there, then obviously we're going to continue to hold the investments. But I was taking a quick look at this just to get it started off with. You let more people join onto the call. Good morning. Many more people have jumped on. Good morning. But yeah, Bitcoin, a lot of our cryptocurrencies very much bullish. So I want to see this continue. And even if we look at the smaller time frame here, we can see previous highs being broken and then tested to the highs as well. So not tested to the highs, but retested rather. So very much bullish on all cryptocurrencies. And that's just to start us off with. If you guys have any specific markets you would like for me to take a look at, feel free to let me know. I am taking a look at the comment section. If there's something that you don't quite understand on trading, and you need help, you need assistance, you really don't quite get something, feel free to let me know what it is so that way I can help and assist and really teach you in detail, or give you the answer in detail rather of whatever question that you ask. So something's like in my eye, my fault. Oh, all right, there we go. I should be good. I know I look crazy there for a second, but yeah, something was like clearly in my eye. All right, so nothing so far. So let me go ahead. We do have actually some U.S. news. Why was I all the way down there? So at 10 a.m. we do have some U.S. cross news between medium and high level folder news. So trading anything with the US dollar is going to be a little bit risky, but we can obviously look at them, get a technical standpoint. We do very good at those times when we look at these on the technical standpoint of what the market may end up doing even before news, and we're pretty good at timing these things and seeing where the market's going to go. So I'm going to do the same thing here with gold. I'm going to break everything down on a technical standpoint to get a strong understanding of what's going to happen next. Details on AU bias. Actually, yeah, we'll do that before I even look at gold. I just looked at the chat right now. So we'll come back to gold. I'll stay relevant and look at AU. So you said biased. So when you say bias, you're speaking on the trend, right? Because when you say bias, you're trying to look for the idea of the direction of the market. Do you want me to break it down? Because this is a very bearish market, if I would think, right? Overall biased is bearish. Right, if we look at the higher time frame, 4-hour daily, and obviously the 4 hours not a high time frame. Let me rephrase that. When we scale from I'm on the daily to the weekly, we can see from these previous highs, or wrong tool, from these highs to these lows. Oh, I forgot that like my face is on the chart, so it's like probably right next to my face. Let me move it on that side so I don't have like everything right there. So you can see from these initial highs here to these initial lows that this is very much a bearish market, at least from this point here to this point here. And I'm on the weekly time frame. That's a long time, right? This is leading back into January of this year, so a few months at this point. So that's a very long time. That's a very bearish market. And overall, if we look even further, we can see from 2020 this market's been bearish. That's the bias. Now, what I think you mean is what is probably going to happen. You want to mark up and see what the initial market's going to be. But since we jumped onto the higher time frame, being the daily and the weekly, we understand that the market is very much bearish. It's selling. What do you think? Right? Like, just look left. Look at this market right now. Because there's only two things actually three things we could do that'll determine this market as real quick. So I know that the market right now on a higher time frame is bearish. So I should be looking for selling opportunities. Now, without me having to mark anything up, if you're very if you've been on my sessions before, whether you're a student or not, I'm pretty sure that you guys are kind of accustomed and see what I'm pretty much looking at, right? You look left to get right. So we have the one thing we have to understand is we have the overall bias, right? So overall bias. So overall bias, what that means is trend, or we equals bearish. I'm not going to put trend, so we know what that is. So overall, the market is bearish. So if I know that the market is bearish, I can't spell today. 50% of my work here is done, right? Because now I don't need to start guessing whether I'm buying or selling or is it sideways. I already know. I know that overall the market bias is bearish based off of a higher time frame such as the daily and the weekly time frame. Very simple. Now, in order for me to feel comfortable with my sells, I need to identify where those next sells will happen from. Very, very easy, right? I don't want anybody being confused or has any form of complication with this, because this is a very simple concept to understand, right? Being able to understand where the market is going to make a move from again. Trading is not supposed to be, or doesn't have to be rather, 13 to 15 to 20 different steps and confirmations needed in order for you to place a trade. What you're doing is identifying where actions have been made from before. Price, action, right? That's the reason why this is called price action trading. You identify the most relevant level of price, and then you identify the actions that proceed within them. So what are some things that we should do in order for us to identify actions? The first thing is to identify price. So in order for me to do that, I need to look left to get right. Now, if you don't understand what that means, there's a few things that we can do. I'm going to go ahead and replay some things. Does that make a little bit more sense, right? I can see right now that I replayed this. I took some history away. So obviously, and I'll just do that real quick in case anybody didn't notice. So you can see that this is current market price right here. This is right now, active, live. I'm taking a replay just so that way you guys can see what I'm speaking about, right? Because we're looking for relevance, where the market has made moves from before. So I'm going to go ahead and delete everything so that way I can show you guys in greater detail. So we know that we're in a seller's market and we should be looking for continued sells. Now, where will those sells most likely happen from? Where sells have happened from before, right? Previous history repeats itself. So I can see that right now that this is a level of previous structure, or in this case, relevant current structure. This is a level of support. Identify that. Why is that important? Because what we can see is that this is a level of respect. That's a form of action, right? Level of respect, or the market respecting a price point, should deem that area of price relevant in your trading, right? Because there should be some form of move in the near history that will happen from there again, meaning that we can see that the actions are respect, respect, respect. I know my zone's not that big. I don't have my zone drawn that big, but I just like to keep my zones, very neat, only because the idea of keeping my chart very appealing. I don't want a bunch of my chart, but this would be considered my entire zone. But you can see the level of respect in that entire area, right? And you can see the respect even with that candle. So me seeing those forms of respect in that area is telling me that this is support. And that if anything happens from that area, I should pay attention. I should look and be able to identify potential opportunity from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this. So when we play it, you can see that the market has clearly broken through. Why is that important? Because the break of that level of structure is just as important, right? Because in order for a level of structure or price to be broken, it is not going to have a weak break. It's not going to just be like some weak ass candle or some weak ass push. No, it's going to be something strong and significant, showing you that sellers are still very much in the market. So what do you got to do from here? A few things, but not too much, right? I would leave this. I'm not touching the structure. I'm leaving this exactly the way I left it. Why? Because what had happened there before can happen again, meaning that it sold from that point, this being the sell. That can't, actually, I'll be a little bit more specific. Where is it this? I always forget. Is it there? Oh, where's my little arrows? I always forget which tool it is for the arrows. Either way, we can see here this being the candle right there, right? That being the breakout candle. So we can see that a sell occurred here after all of that respect. If a sell has happened there before, let me make sure this is on the side. If a sell has happened from here before, a sell will happen from there once again. So what are we going to do? Well, for one, we let that continue to push much lower. We got to make sure that this is in fact, or not just push lower. We got to make sure that we're going to identify the most high probable trade opportunity. So what we can do is let this play out. Why? Because as this impulse lower, it's going to cause a correction. That correction is what we need in order for us to then place a sell in the continued direction of the market. So what we can do is add a Fibonacci retracement tool from the swing highs to the swing lows. And now what I'm doing is I'm identifying my structure here. Very simple. I'm identifying my structure alongside a fib ratio. Any one of them. I'm not looking at a specific fib ratio. There's not one fib ratio better than the other. There's nothing like that whatsoever. Because if there was, trust me, everybody would be using that, and there'd be ridiculous amount of billionaire traders. There's no guru level. We use them all in confluence with other forms of, or we use them with other forms of confluence and probable trade signals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify this as my sell kill zone. Now you're probably wondering well, none of this makes sense. Why are you breaking it down in such great detail? The reason being is because we have to understand what has previously happened to see what's now happening or currently happening to then understand what's going to happen next. Because now when we put sell kill zone and I let this play out, you're probably going to be like, well, shit. Okay, well, now what? Well, now you can see how it came up to that level of structure. Excuse me. It came up to this level of structure here. And it also respected our fib ratios, being the 618 and the 71.1. Not many people use the 71.1. So if anything, even if we were just to get rid of it real quick, it'll just be the 618, which is fine because we can see that there was a test of it and it could not even break above it. So now we're going to cheat a little bit. We're going to get a little specific, and we're going to leave that structure to kind of identify just that 618. So I'm pretty sure it might have been broken above a little bit. So when we press play, has this level of structure been tested again and held? Absolutely. So what I'm doing is I'm helping you guys understand how to identify your structure or the main reasons on why structure is important, how to identify the relevant levels of structure, and what else you would need at those points to get higher probability entries. So right now, not only is this sell kill zone already been respected, if I'm correct, there might be another opportunity. Oh, let me get this out the way real quick. Aha. So there is another opportunity. So we're still very much within this level of structure in that zone. So we're going to cheat a little bit more because it has developed. So we're still very much within that sell kill zone, nothing different. And what we can add, and the fib stays the same, right? The Fibonacci does not change. I'll actually go ahead and add that 71.1 so it makes a little bit more sense, right? So now we still have fib confluence, we still have structure, and this is current market, right? This is live. This is the actual price. This is not replayed. So what we can also do is add this. Make a little bit of sense, right? What you're trying to do is you're identifying, again, the most relevant level of price. As you identify that relevant level of price, you're adding confluences or other high probable opportunities or ideas, rather, clues that the market leaves behind, and you're stacking them together so that way it gives you a trade opportunity. So we do have news at 10, again, just so that way everybody understands. You don't want to necessarily get risky and start trading before news, but in my honest opinion, on a technical standpoint, a full breakdown on AUDUSD would show that we are looking at a potential sell. So hopefully that makes sense. I know everybody's like, what the fuck? If you just got on and you got into the middle of me breaking down AU, I do apologize. I know I kind of like go into crazy detail, but that's what's needed, right? That's just to help you guys. I think I don't really see anybody giving you that type of value, and that's not like to sound, disrespectful, very humble about it, but it's just I really want to make sure that you guys are in fact learning, understanding exactly what's needed. And then really going from there. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully AU makes sense for a sell. Obviously when news comes out, that'll be whatever it wants. News will come out and then it could be a strong ass buy. It continues to be bullish in my analysis that I broke down right now. It makes no sense compared to what the release is. But I would say on a technical standpoint, you're looking more along the lines of a sell from there. You have confluence of a trend line, confluence of broken and retested structure. You have confluence of a fib ratio as well. And right now we are seeing some candlestick rejection from that area. So I would expect the idea of some potential sells here with AU. And that goes for the majority at this point. If we're looking at AU sells, that probably goes for EU. That probably goes for GU, right? Same kind of idea. They move in tandem in a sense. They're correlated. They don't move identical, but they usually work almost the same. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Let me see what else you guys got. Maxwell, good morning, Jay. Can you take a look at Euro NZD? I think price is currently approaching support, higher low, if I'm correct, if that's what you're saying. And it can possibly reverse to continue its overall bullish structure. What do you think? Let me read that again. So Euro NZD. So you said, and I'm on the 4-hour. Jay, can you take a look at Euro NZD? I think price is currently approaching support. It is, right? You can see I have that support there. And you said that, and can possibly reverse. Nope, absolutely not. And can possibly reverse to continue its overall bullish structure. Nope, hell no. So this is actually, that's great that we're going to talk about this really fast, right? This is where patience, my phone, I'm trying to get back to the chat. My phone did not want to unlock for a second. I don't think it likes the fact that my hat's backwards. I'm trying to use facial recognition. Let me see real quick. All right, so somebody's asked me to take a look at Euro NZD because they think that, or they see that we are at a level of structure and that they're expecting the market to reverse and continue its bullish trend. Very much, I don't really think that's a strong idea to look at. And the reason being, just a very easy thing for you guys to see. What can you see? Who is this, Maxwell? Take a hard look at this. It's not just, oh, we're at support, we're at resistance. It's not just that. I think that's where a lot of people have the misconception that, we're only looking at price points and then entering from there. Absolutely not. Can't do that. Yes, we are at a level of support, but look, actually, and this is not to sound disrespectful, this is to help you seriously fucking understand. Because if you don't see it this way, And if I don't say it this way, it's going to be, let me see if I can put my phone like that. There we go. That's better. If I don't say it like this, it's probably going to be very hard for you to remember. So I say it in a way that everybody's like, damn, I remember when he said that. Let me not be, let me not go against it. Use common sense, right? Pay attention to detail. What is the current status? Now I know the overall market you said is bullish, right? If we go into the daily, by doctrine, this is a lower high. That would not be considered a bullish market. I know the immediate from those lows to these highs, that would be considered bullish. But in a true weird sense, this is actually considered a bearish market because that having a higher low, or a lower high rather. But I see what you mean. From these lows to these highs, very much a bullish market. But you also have to use these higher time frames to understand that that might not be the case, because you're looking at the a smaller time frame for the structure, but you're disregarding the higher time frame reversal zone that was respected as well, right? That is considered a PRZ zone because this was a level of strong price that could not be broken to the upside. I mean, there was some breaks up there. Let's check the weekly. Okay, so not really too much breaks, but I was seeing if the weekly here offered any wicks to the upside to really show if this was a strong level. I mean, it still is a strong level of structure. It was respected, but I just wanted to see if there was any further clear, visuals of respect with candlestick development or behavior. But right there, I mean, you're disregarding the fact that already respected a resistance high, and that was considered a PRZ zone, which caused that sell that you're currently in, right? That's important. Once you can see that, then you're like, okay, well, if I can see that it hit this level of significant structure, this resistance point, or PRZ zone, potential reversal zone. So let me go ahead and do this. PRZ, potential reversal zone based off of a higher time frame, right? The higher the time frame, the stronger the confluence. You're always going to see the daily, the weekly, the monthly. When those levels of structure are respected, or you see patterns or any form of confluence, that should be taken into high consideration, just like what we're seeing here. This is a PRZ or potential reversal zone based off of the daily time frame. Just simply put, resistance. So we can see that level of resistance, I mean, just looking at candles, we don't have to do anything else. We can see, you don't have to be, you don't even have to know how to trade. Just understand what bearish candles look like and say that, well, once it hit that price, we can see that it started to sell from there. But that's not the clue. That's not the clue that I'm looking for. This is the clue. Can anyone tell me what I'm looking at? And the reason why I have the chart over here is because I know I got my face like right there. But can anyone tell me the clue that I'm looking at from this level of structure? Because again, this is called price action trading. We're trying to identify the most relevant level of price, which we did based off the higher time frame, and we can see the reason from the rejection from it, and the actions that proceed within it, right? The actions being whatever patterns that may have formed around that area, whatever other forms of confluence such as trend lines, fibs, other candle patterns, market patterns or breakout patterns. Like those things are very important at these levels of structure. Those are called actions. So what is it that, and I know there's a delay between everything else, but let me see. Head and shoulders pattern. Ben Samuel, my guy. Yes, you're absolutely correct. That head and shoulders pattern is extremely important, right? So if you guys don't think that, head and shoulders, let me disregard that. TradingView has an actual tool for that pattern. If you didn't think it was important, now you should. And we have a break of that head and shoulders pattern, right? So I want you, and I'm breaking this down in full detail. We saw in the higher time frame there was respect. Okay, can the 4-hour time frame now further give me detail or tell me that yes, this is in fact a sell, and you should in fact continue to look for that as you trade this. So we have the break of the neckline. Let me actually see if I draw it out like this. So we have the break of the neckline here. So you could draw it in two ways. Either the trend line way, the way that I personally like to do it is with simple structure. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are already accustomed to my simplicity of trading. So you have the you have the break of your neckline rather. So let's do this. Break, so we'll put break of structure plus neckline. being the structure and the trend line there, or vice versa, or both at that point. So we have the breakout. So as soon as the market broke out of that level of structure to confirm that this reversal pattern, right? This is the reason why I'm showing you this, Maxwell, is because you're looking for buys when the market has fucking just smacked you in the face with all selling confirmations. This is so that way you avoid losing money. This is how you decide, well, you know, this doesn't look like a good trade setup, and how to take your hands off of a market when you need to, rather, right? So we can see that it broke out of the structure. We can see that it broke the neckline of that pattern. And yes, it has in fact reached a level of structure, at least on this time frame. This is the whole zone. I'm not going to leave my zone that big for right now. I'm going to leave it just like this, as if actually, I'm pretty sure when I replayed, it probably came down a little bit lower. I'll leave it right there for now. It's not perfect, but when I press play, you can see that there was a form of correction from there, or a respect rather. But where did it respect to? Just like we said on the other market that we looked at previously, it came back to a level of structure. So we have a retest of structure, I can't spell, plus trend line or neckline. That's important because we can also, and this is again, you identify the most relevant level of structure and the actions that proceed within them. Guess what? You have entries. Because I know everybody's like, but what about entries? What about, no. In order for you to get entries, you have to know how to mark up mark up a market accurately. That's a tongue twister. And find these confluences within them. So we have respect or retest of our structure, our trend line, and we also, with that candlestick here, as you can see, a very rejective candle leaving a wick to the upside. And what do you see? The market continued to give you that bearish rejection. And it came back down to your level of structure that you're currently looking at now. That does not mean that you are looking for buys and this is going to be a reversal from that area. It's already confirmed that sellers are very much within this market. You have the respect of the higher time frame structure. We have smaller time frames such as the 4 hour and 1 hour, because we could draw this on the 1 hour as well, showing us further bearish confluence, right? Each time frame is screaming at us, sell. Daily telling us with its own markup, the 4 hours telling us with its own markup, and I'm pretty sure when we scale down to the 1 hour time frame, as it develops later on next week, today being Friday, the markets will be closing later, so the volatility will not be that great, if any. So you'll probably have to come to this next week, or definitely come back to this next week. But I would expect this market to break this level. I don't think it should continue to be bullish. It is already giving us enough signs and like clues, if you will, that this does not want to be or remain bullish. So I think what you're looking at is a level of structure that could like cause maybe some consolidation so the market can build up the needed momentum and energy to then break the structure. But I don't see this respecting that structure and being a full-fledged reversal to the upside like that, unfortunately. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I broke that down in a manner that makes sense to you guys. If it doesn't, if what I'm saying is just like fucking rocket science to you, let me know. I really want to make sure that I'm educating in a way that everyone understands. I don't want anybody leaving these sessions with more questions than answers. I think that's really important. So let me see. Currently bearish 4 hours, lower high and lower low. Well, yeah, but you're not just looking. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not just saying overall 4 hours bearish, lower high, lower low. Why? Because that lower high here is not just it's not just a lower high. This is not just a lower high. What is that? That is the right shoulder to your head and shoulders pattern. That, I don't give a fuck about a lower high. I give a fuck about the fact that at a left shoulder price, you should be placing an entry for yourselves to catch this entire move. I'm not joking. I do it all the time. I give students signals with this shit all the time. I just obviously didn't do it Euro NZD. I actually did not see that. I wish I did. But the majority of the time, like I can go into my chat and I'll see if I can even find like a lot of our entries are based off of the right shoulder price of a head and shoulders pattern. So instead of looking at it like, oh, lower high, and then, oh, lower high, why don't you identify entries from these points? Because this right here could have been an entry for sells. Break, right? Retest. entry from this area. This is what I mean about being able to mark up your chart in a sense that, you know, where it makes sense, because your markup, you're not just looking at a chart to say, well, I see lower highs, lower lows. All right, good job. No, you're doing this to make money. So if you can't identify your entry points, then you need to change up your markups or your way of looking at the market. You don't want to just be like, okay, well, I see lower highs. Okay, execute. Because there's so many opportunities that could have happened on at least your way down to your potential buy. Before you even looking for a buy, there was 2 sells. Sell here, sell here. Possibly even on a smaller time, being on the 1 hour, even a sell here. You know what I mean? And I'm not just looking at, oh, well, break and retest. There's obviously a lot more that will come into it, because once it gets to these price points, you have to wait or see how it develops and wait for other forms of confirmations to then say, okay, it is respecting this price point. Let me go ahead and enter. You're not just going, oh, retest and then enter. But this is what I mean. Like, when you find these areas and you can identify the actions, that'll make a lot more sense and also show you the true direction, just like how we did with this. So be very careful with that. Make sure you break down a chart in its entirety. Understand the overall market census, so that way you can say, well, I know it looks like we're at a level of support, it looks like a buy, but sellers are way too strong, way too in control. I would expect next week for that to be broken to the downside. Shit, you never know. Like, I've seen some crazy shit happen on Fridays, where Fridays be the most volatile day of the week, when like Wednesdays and Thursdays be stuck. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would expect this to be broken and a continued bearish market. So be very careful with that. Thank you. Perfectly understood. Perfect. I'm glad. I am glad. So any other questions, anything else you guys got for me, feel free to let me know. Again, I really want to make sure that I'm helping you guys. It's really important that I speak on relevance. And yeah, this is your time. I don't see really anybody, like the shit that I'm giving you guys, people who charge, like, I'm not even joking, thousands of dollars. I saw somebody's program where they do 3, I think it was 3 live sessions. I think it was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at night, not even during the time where the market, you know, you should be looking at the market and trading. They charge $2,000 a month just for those 3 sessions and like 1 or 2 signals a week. I was like, shit. If I knew I could charge, no, imagine. I would never charge thousands of dollars for that. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. So y'all getting this on YouTube. You know what I mean? So yeah, make sure y'all use your time wisely. Make sure that you're, you know, if you do have questions, if you're confused on something, you need me to go back, reiterate on something, feel free to let me know. If there's any specific markets you want me to take a look at, also let me know as well. So before we do that, before I answer any questions, if there is any, let me go back to gold and see what's happening really quick. Okay, so what I wanted to see with gold is to see if there was going to be any potential sells from this area. I was actually looking at it from here. So we do have already, at least on the 1 hour time frame, a break above. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean break above, it's time to buy. Just for one, it's Friday, so I don't necessarily take a lot of the moves or what the market does on a Friday to, you know, into consideration, because sometimes they are a lot of false moves. I'll just draw the actual highs of the wicks there. But even on the 4 hour time frame, we still have about an hour, like in 45 for this to close. What hour? Yeah, just about hour 44 for this to close. So with this 4 hour candle, even though it's above the market structure here, it still has every chance to leave a wick above here and close right below that structure point, confirming that sellers may be coming in. But there's no confirmations on that just yet. I'm waiting to see what the market initially gives us. If not, if there are no sellers, then what we can do is use this same structure and turn it into a buy zone. Very simple, right? Because we have a break above, market will impulse, do whatever it fucking wants to do. Gold's been crazy, but let's say it wants to spike all the way up here, I'll just identify that as our buy kill zone to continue market direction. If it does make like other forms of structure being, does sound like this, you know, before it reaches that point, and let's say we get, you know, some consolidation around here and we could actually have structure, then I'll change or identify multiple entry points. But right now we can't, because the market hasn't given us that. So I'll identify that as our price point for now. But just wanted to see if there was a trade for us on gold. I wanted to see if we could play something live. But yeah, definitely, definitely not. Excuse me on that. But yeah, no sells on gold as of yet. But yeah, any questions, anything else you guys got for me, feel free to let me know. If not, we'll conclude for today. Doesn't seem like too many people are on or live. It is Friday. I know not too many people really be trying to do shit on a Friday. I know I'm not. I just want to be chilling, relaxing, catching up on whatever I missed out on during the week, and then go from there. But like, ooh, I'm actually kind of liking USD CAD here in a second too. So I want to wait for news to be released, but I mean, we are kind of looking at a potential sell zone or sell kill zone here with the USD CAD. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are already accustomed to how I'm looking at things. I'm identifying structure. That's the first step. Like, that's not the only thing. Like, I'm looking at these structure points, and when they're reached, when the market reaches these points, then I'm identifying. That's what I'm really thinking. That's what I'm, okay, now what confluences can I see? Candlestick patterns, any market patterns? Is there any other forms of confluence? So I'm just marking up structure points because those are relevant price points in my head where I think moves will be made for potential entries. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense for everybody. But yeah, questions, comments, if anything. If not, we'll conclude for today. I do got to make sure that our auto trader is running smoothly. So far, great week so far. We did have a losing day on the auto trader. Like, I don't know, the fucking market one of these days just went, I think it was Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday. It might have been Tuesday. I'm not too sure which day it was when the market was just like, hello. It just went crazy for no reason. So we did have a losing day, but then yesterday, I think the last 2 days, the EA and myself, the EA worked very well, low drawdown. And I also was able to capitalize on my own entries for students as well. So great week as well. I also got to put in our FX book in the description for the FX book. So I'll make sure that I do that for you guys as well. But yeah, so far so good. But yeah, any questions? Looks like we're good. Thank you, perfectly understood. All right, seems like everybody's Gucci so far. I do want to see if there's maybe a short-term trade that we could place, but I really didn't see too much, to be honest, as far as the markets are concerned. Especially on a Friday. Like, Fridays are kind of like, they're probably not the best. As I say that, we're reaching a potential buy zone here on AUD/JPY. Now, this is not, if you're like, well, just structure again. No, absolutely not. This is actually all based around the idea that we can see that AUD/JPY did find some common ground at this level of support down here. I'll actually just take this and put it here and create a double bottom. As you can see, 1, 2. So whenever you have a double bottom or double top, the most important aspect of that area is the break above or below, but in this case above for a double bottom, above that level of resistance. I'll just replay this really quick so that way everybody understands. So whenever you have the market actually break above that level of, can't even talk, above that resistance after a double bottom, that price point becomes very, very relevant. Why? Because when you get the retest of it, you have a potential entry. So we are looking at and not now, because this is obviously not ready for it, but we're looking at a potential buy here on AUD/JPY. Let me go on, we'll use my fib tool, swing low, swing high, and we're going to draw that out. So we have a 38.2 around that area. So we do have some fib confluence. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to respect that point perfectly. Right now, looking at AUD/JPY, there is a buy kill zone. Thank you. Always enjoy your class. I appreciate you guys. Yep, appreciate you, Nova. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Small session today. Not too many people on. That's perfectly fine. The more that we're on these, the more that we do these, the community will grow. We'll have a lot more people on these, and I guarantee you guys will have a lot more value as far as these sessions are concerned. Obviously, more value put out in the Discord for everyone as well, and then really go from there. But yeah, if anybody has any other questions before anything, feel free to let me know. If anybody's wondering why I keep looking down, it's because I got my phone right here. I just want to make sure that I'm answering everybody. So it's not that I'm ignoring you or anything, but yeah, just want to make sure that I'm looking at everything in accurate time. But seems like everybody's good. Seems like everybody's Gucci. So what we'll do is we'll conclude for today. We'll catch back on first thing Monday morning, and then we'll continue to see if there's any trade opportunities or identify what the week has in store for us then. But as of right now, again, also being on a Friday, you're not going to really be getting opportunities like that. If you do, they're very scarce, or just be very careful as well. You're not trying to place, that many entries on a Friday, because I would even say, even though it's leading into New York session now, in a sense, because it is going to be 8:30 a.m. Eastern, that shit's dead by like noon, because the market's closed 5 p.m. Eastern. So be very careful with all of your trades. Don't overtrade. We do have news as well, so be very careful with that if you are doing your own individual trading. But yeah, be very careful. There might be some opportunities leading into next week. Obviously, we'll take a look at those all together. Quick look at US30. Make sure what I'm doing makes sense. Thomas, are you selling? If you're selling, yes, you're correct. And also, and this is for everybody who's going to sound like think I'm being rude or disrespectful to this guy. He's actually my friend. We served in the army together, so I know him personally. So nobody flip out, but I'm going to talk my shit. But Thomas, if you're right, if you're making money, you know you're right. Because you're not going to be making, I know how much ever money you're fucking making right now, because I know you've been killing it on US30. You wouldn't be making that money. You wouldn't be, say what you're doing makes sense. It wouldn't make sense if you weren't making money. If it makes money, it makes sense. So Tom, yeah, you're selling. I'm in at 32.25. Ooh, oh wow, that's crazy. Do you know like why? Is it just simply the structure? Is it literally just because of that? And I'm hoping candles as well. Yes. Oh, that's from previously. So yeah, so one thing, Tom, it sounds so weird calling you by your first name, Heslin. Just remember this: if you place a trade, excuse me, if you place a trade and you're making money and it's a lot of money, don't ever second guess. Don't ever don't ever in your mind let it be cross your mind that, oh, maybe, no, fuck that. Especially with US30. If you're making money, confidently tell yourself, I could do that again and make money. That's it. Don't ever second guess it. Don't look, and this is not sound fucking rude or disrespectful by no means, but don't even care about my opinion. Don't even ask me. Only because if you're making money, you know damn well you were right. Especially if you got in from that price where it's at now, yeah, you're good. I've been watching it, looking for a break. Well, you got the break. You got not the break, but you have the respect from these highs here. Obviously, your take profit should be at these lows, just roughly. But yeah, no, you're solid. You're good on that trade, bro. I wouldn't get out of that. What I would do is, depending, I don't know how many entries you have, but if you have multiple entries, doesn't matter how many, but you'll take your stop loss and you put it to a profitable fashion. So what I mean by that is, let's say you have your sell here, your market's doing this, right? So you're already in profits. So instead of taking your stop loss and making it break even, I can't put it in profits on here on TradingView. But what you would do is you would take your stop loss, you would find a price. If you're on MT4 on your computer, you could do it manually. You could put your stop loss at a price where even if the world blew up, but you still wanted your account at an afterlife, in the afterlife to still stay intact, if that stop loss is hit, it's still winning money, right? You're still profitable. If you don't do that, let's say you just leave your stop loss and the market decides it wants to turn on its head and you don't move your stop loss and it does that, now you're losing money. So I would say just keep your trade risk-free, or not even just risk-free, still profitable for that sense. Move your stop loss to a price where you feel fit. In my honest opinion, these indices, as you see, they'll make big moves in one direction and also in the opposite direction. So don't put your stop loss right here. If you put your stop loss that close, then obviously that shit's going to be hit. It doesn't matter because it'll be profitable, but if you want to hold on to it, just give it a little bit of room to breathe. You know what I mean? Maybe here, maybe here. But yeah, I would say move your stop losses and you're good. Stop losses in profit, but I'm nearing my take profit. Worry about news. Excuse me. Well, you can't be worried about news. This is get that psychological shit out your head because you're making money, right? If your trade is risk free, I don't know what your lot size is, but it doesn't matter because I know you're making a lot of money. It's at least a few thousand, at least. Even if it's a 0.01, if I'm correct, you're still making a few thousand. Probably, I think, yeah, that'll still be a few thousand if I'm correct for a 0.01, depending on your broker as well. But yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about news because even if news comes out and it hits your stop in profit, you're still in profit. If news comes out more in your favor, guess what? Christmas came early. You could take me out for some beers. and that'll be great. But yeah, no, I think you're good, Hess. I think you're solid. I think you should just move your stop loss into a little bit of profit. If the news comes out against you, you still win. If it comes out in your favor, yeah, I want a bottle of, what's the most expensive tequila? I want one of those. Get me an expensive tequila, and I'll be happy with that. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I think you're good, Hess. I don't think you should be doing anything else. Just leave your stops in profit. Let that continue to work out in your favor. But yeah, what else? Let me see if there's anything else. Doesn't seem like any other questions or anything. So real quick, for everybody who's on the call right now, I want to extend my gratitude to everybody. I've been doing these sessions every day for the most part whenever I can. I do have at least, oh my God, I can't even put a number on. I have a lot of students now where I got to make sure that I accommodate to them, because if I don't, they yell at me. Like if I'm not there in 5 minutes, they're like, yo, where you at? So it is very hard for me to do these at the time that I'm doing them. So I really do want you guys to understand that. So when you're on these calls, ask as many questions as you want. Make sure that you're really learning. Make sure that you're actually getting further in your trading journey by using these sessions and asking questions. It's really important. I really want to help educate people. That's one of my biggest passions. And I really want to help grow this community and this channel through transparency and straight value. So if you haven't already, good little segue, go ahead, please like this video. It definitely helps grow the community. The more people we have on these calls in the future, the longer I'll stay on, the more nuggets I'll drop, more free value that I'll be putting out for you guys. Because right now, all I do is give out signals, have an auto trader for binary, which I got to make sure that that's still running well, only because I got to refine my strategy, and an auto trader for Forex, where I place my own trades, and our EA that also places trades for us as well. I have it strict for prop firm settings at that too at this point. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the time that I spend on here with you guys is giving you guys tons of knowledge. So if you can, like the video, definitely helps. And yeah, if you have any questions at any point throughout the day, even if it's on the weekend, hit me up on Facebook, Discord. You can even ask anyone in our Discord. If you're not a part of our Discord, go ahead into the link or to the description below. The link is in there, so that way you guys can stay, updated with any and all news that we have, and also communicate with any legacy students and just anyone also part of the community. So yeah, definitely helps, and I really want to make sure that I help you guys as well. Let me see real quick. You're appreciated, boss. Keep doing your thing. I appreciate that, Derek. Yep. Yeah, all right, Tess. Heslam. Perfect. But yeah, with that being said, we'll conclude for today. Obviously, Monday morning, we'll catch back on. Hopefully, there'll be some great opportunities so we can play some trades live and really help you guys not just learn, but become profitable as well. In the Discord, I'll also be sending some signals. This market was just very slow and weird this week, so I didn't want to risk too much for anybody. So next week, hopefully, we come back better and stronger. So that way, we're all good on that. But yeah, with that being said, we'll conclude for today. Catch back on first thing Monday morning, and I'll see you guys on that. But yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate you all.